கணவருக்கு கந்தெல்லாம் வேண்டியதுன்னா கணவருக்கு கந்தெல்லாம் வேண்டியதுன்னா தூடகத்தில் கணவருக்கு கல்லோடாட கணவருக்கு சந்தோங்காளா நெரு கணவருக்கு வழக்குமாடா நொய கணவருக்கு Tumana mele muto jama, tumana mele muto jama, purana lombodu petu nama.
In the history of human colonization, water resources have extreme importance like food resources. The human beings started to live near to the streams and rivers. At the time of rudimentary technology, they used to gather food from the wide forest. Then in the history of cultural and technological development, the human beings started to invent the bow and arrow to hunt animals from the forest. Hunting animals and birds and fishing from the streams have become a part of life of the people since time immemorial. With the settled life, people have started horticulture and agriculture. Animal domestication has also become an important part of culture. In the hills and valleys of Wayanad district in Kerala, the indigenous people have contributed a lot in the preservation of forests and food resources. Although some tribal people earlier used to hunt wild animals, they have planted trees and plants in their surroundings. They are not exploiters, but they are the silent preservers of nature and environment. The indigenous people of Wayanad hills and valleys were exploited by various people from time to time. The awe and agony are not yet disappeared from the faces of the people. In a settlement, they have decorated the doorsteps of the Pusha Muri with some coins including the British time. They do not know the value and historical importance of these coins of the period of George VI King Emperor, and he was the last emperor of India until 1947. Among the indigenous populations, the Kadars, the Katunaikans, the Paniyas and the Kurichian are colonized and scattered in these beautiful hills and valleys. They devised their own technology in making houses, cultivation, animal domestication, etc. The Banasura Hills has an elevation of 2073 meters above sea level, and a major part of which is situated in the Vellamunda Gram Panchayat of the Wayanad district. It has a mysterious story of cultural existence of the indigenous people. The Wayanad Kadar was a hunting-gathering population. They differ from the Kadars of central Kerala. This settlement is about 6 kilometers away from the Vellamunda urban center, which is on the way to Manandaram from Kuttiyadi. Today, they are not a hunting-gathering people. They are aware of the ban on hunting. The Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, passed by the Government of India, made ban on hunting, which includes capturing, killing, poisoning and trapping wild animals. All these have made strong impact on the life of these indigenous people. They now have started to keep poultry in their houses since the ban on hunting by the Government of India. Apart from this, the Kadars have now domesticated cows. They generally do not hunt. However, they still maintain very sharp arrows and bows and dogs that they used to accompany while hunting. Today, the hunting gathering people became wage laborers. They are living in the forest with the fear of wild elephants. They are receiving financial aid from the government to construct houses, but funds are provided to them step by step. Their traditional huts are replaced with new tiled and RCC houses. The influence of television has also reached into the remote tribal colonies of Wayanad district. They take water from the streams by using pipes. One end of the pipe will be kept at a higher part of the stream, and naturally water will flow from higher levels to lower levels. The Kartunaikans are living in the slopes of the hills in the Mangalaseri region of the Vellamunda. The Kartunaikan were also a hunting-gathering population, and now they are wage laborers. They do not cultivate paddy, they buy rice from shops. The huts of Kartunaikans are made of bamboo, straw and grass. But as part of the development program, they have got new houses from the government. They were good hunters and very tactful in collecting minor forest produce like wax, honey, etc. They have started to rear cattle. They also rear goats, poultry, etc. Earlier, they considered the Panyans as inferior to them and observed pollution against them. But today, this has changed and the Kartunaikan people mingle with the Panyas. The Panyas were agrestic slaves traditionally, and with the land reforms of Kerala, their relationships with the landowners ceased. The Panyas are distributed in many parts of the village. They are living in colonies. Earlier, the Panya men lived with their family in the homesteads of the landlords, and all the Panya members used to work for the landlords. In return, they used to get paddy after the harvest. They fish from streams during rainy season and in summer. The children are not completing their education. They do not like to be called as Panyan. They say that they are human beings like others. When we compare the life and culture of these indigenous people of this Wayanad Valley, the Kurichians are far more developed than the other indigenous people. Anthropologically, societies and cultures are categorized on the basis of subsistence activities or economic activities. It starts from gathering, hunting, fishing, pastoralism, shifting cultivation, and to agriculture. The coexistence of all these activities in one particular human population is very rare, and it is a unique instance in the history of human existence. The Kurichians are a living example for this. They cook different kinds of tubers that they collect from the forest or from their homesteads. As far as hunting is concerned, they know that there is ban on hunting. However, even today, some of them use bows and arrows. It has become a part of their life. Even the children play with small bow and arrow. The Kurichians fish from streams and they use different types of fishing nets. Apart from fish, the hunt meat is an unavoidable item to them during puberty ceremony and other important occasions.
അതാണ് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രധാനമായിട്ട് വേണ്ടത്. അതാണ് അത് എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും ഞങ്ങൾ പിടിച്ചിരിക്കും. ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ഒരു സിക്കാറിന് പോകാൻ നമുക്ക് പറ്റില്ല, പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിടിക്കില്ലേ. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ എങ്ങനെ ഒളിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ പോയിട്ട് എന്താക്കും, ഈ കർമ്മത്തിന് വേണ്ടി ഞങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കി വെക്കും. അത് വലിയ വലിയ വീട്ടിൽ അത് നിർബന്ധം.
They use sling and pellet for catching birds. Now they keep poultry in their houses. They cultivate paddy, banana, ginger, turmeric, vegetables, pepper, coffee, areca nut, coconut, etc. The Kurichians are not a mere agricultural tribe. They have developed multifaceted indigenous knowledge to live in this isolated forest region. They know herbal medicine. This man is applying a herbal medicine in the wound created by a blood-sucking leech. The leaves of the plant Mitracarpus hirtus is used by them to heal the wound. They rear cows in their homesteads for milk. Apart from this, they are rearing a large number of cows in a top camp at the slope of a hill. The cattle are kept in a shed known as ala. Here, every morning, one or two members from the houses situated nearby agricultural fields go to the hilltop, having an elevation more than 1,000 meters above the sea level, and grazing the cattle in the upland pastures of the Banasura hills. This is a unique feature of a pastoral semi-nomadism. They rear these cattle mainly for cow dung, which is being used as a manure for agricultural practices. Apart from this, occasionally they sell some cattle to the butchers. It is important that they do not consume meat of their cattle. The Kurichians rear buffaloes for tilling the land. Today, they have received a power tiller as a part of the development programs. Although coir ropes are available in the nearby urban center, they make ropes with the sheets of the tree, locally known as kavilamaram, for binding the bundles of paddy seeds. They also use reeds to bind the bundles of paddy seeds. During harvest season, they prepare flour of a particular place for keeping harvested paddy. Men and women participate in clearing the land. Traditionally, they construct their yards and ways with mud. The most traditional type of houses was made of mud, bamboo, and straws. Some modern RCC houses are also there. Traditionally, they decorate the walls of the houses with a variety of geometrical patterns. Their traditional settlement pattern is quite unique. It has a padipura and it is still constructed and maintained in the traditional manner. When outside people come to their settlement, the outsiders should not use footwears in their front yard. Footwears should be kept outside the yard. They make brooms with aripulle, which they collect from the forest, and it will be available only during the months of November and December, and they store it throughout the year for making brooms. They clean the house and the yards with brooms. The purpose of Padipura is very unique. The outsiders or their relatives are supposed to sit in the Padipura for discussing any matter. The most respected Vellan Moopan, a 64-year-old man, is the chief of the Kakkotara Tarwad, which was a big joint family, and about 80 members were there in this joint family. Earlier, they practiced extreme untouchability. They believed that they should take bath when outsiders touched them. Earlier, they used to take bath whenever they come back from outside after shopping or jobs. Today, the young generation are not bothered about untouchability. Some of them are not bothered about cleanliness too. Most of the people go to streams for bathing and also washing their dress. Some families take water from small pits known as keni. It is about 1 meter width and about 1.5 meters depth. They fetch water from newly constructed wells. Paddy is stored in granaries. They have big vessels to prepare food. They bring vegetables from their homesteads to prepare curry. Even for feasts, they cook themselves from their kitchen. They conduct feasts at the time of marriages, puberty ceremonies, etc. They serve the food in a beautiful manner. They have kept a room as Pusha Muri. There are some brass lamps only inside the Pusha Muri, but the photographs of Lord Shiva, Ayyappan, Ganapati, Muttappan, Krishna, etc. are kept in front of the Pusha Muri and not inside. Occasionally, they go to the Parishnikadavu Muttappan temple. Should not walk in front of the Pusha Muri or should not enter into this room, as the proximity of women pollutes the sanctity of the Pusha Muri. They have isolation huts, and the women will have to stay in such isolation huts during their menstruation times. They believe in Malakkari and Poiti. Malakkari means Lord Shiva and Poiti means Bhagavati. Every day they lit lamp in the evening in front of the Pusha Muri. In the evenings, the Kuruchians lit lamp in an ancient Vishnu temple near to their settlement. This devastated temple is under the custody of the Kuruchians. There was a pond in front of the temple. The steps to the pond are retained. The presence of Balikalle around the temple is also seen. The Vyalimukha on the sides of the doorsteps is also present. The broken idol has lost its 2 arms completely and a part of right palm. There are breaks in the neck and foot. A relief-style fish pattern is there in front of the doorsteps of the Sri Kovil. It is a rare sculpture motif. It might be constructed in such a way for providing a feeling to the devotees that the Mahavishnu is standing in a lotus flower and the devotees will have to stand in water to pray to the Mahavishnu. There is no proper evidence for the devastation of this ancient temple. The Kuruchians do not know anything about the origin of this temple. However, They are showing enthusiasm to maintain and even to reconstruct the devastated temple.
അതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സംവിധാനം ഇപ്പൊ ചെയ്തോണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതൊന്ന് ദൈവം സഹായിച്ചിട്ടൊന്ന് മുന്നോട്ട് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇത് നന്നാക്കാനുള്ള എല്ലാ സംവിധാനവും ദൈവ അനുഗ്രഹത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഉണ്ടാകുമെന്നാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു വിശ്വാസം.
They are one of the matrilineal tribes and possess joint property rights. Today, around the year 2000, people started to follow nuclear family system and now they live in independent houses. Some people started to think about individualization.
നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശം വെച്ചാൽ ഇതിലൊന്നും പാർട്ടിഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ട് പൊതുമുതലാളി വെച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്ക് ഒരു 5 സെൻറ്റ് കൊടുക്കണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മറ്റവൻ സമ്മതിക്കില്ല. മറുവശത്ത് അത് ശരിയല്ല എന്ന് പറയും. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിങ്ങനെ തന്നെ കിടക്കും, ഇങ്ങനെ നയിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും.
The use of mobile phones has increased among these indigenous people. They use it even as a calculator. The children are very much interested in watching television. Some families could possess DTH television system. The children are very much interested in cricket. Educational development of the people is one of the major problems. This upper primary school was established in 1930. Today, high schools, higher secondary schools and private English medium schools are there in the Gram Panchayat. However, the educational attainment of the children are very poor. However, the children started to show interest in studies. It is a sign of national development and the indigenous people are becoming a part of the mainstream of India. Still, the Blue Mountains have many untold stories of social conflicts and oppressions faced by the indigenous people.